New York is the city that never sleeps, and neither does Sal Licata. From Flushing in the Bronx to the Meadowlands in MSG, Sal sounds off on the biggest sports news of the day. Welcome to WFAN Daily with Sal Licata.
It's not Sal Licata, but the same energy as the New York Knicks brought back OG Anunoby and basically solidified this New York Knicks team, as being a top contender for the championship in next season. And let's be serious here. You get Mikal Bridges, you have OG that you're bringing back, Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hart. The Nova Knicks are going to be for real all season long. And now what it comes down to is, what are they going to do with Mitch Robinson? Are they going to try to re-sign Hartenstein? Or is Julius Randle going to find his way out? And I think that the one person that I believe is going to still be on this team, that's not going to be leaving, is Julius Randle. And the one reason why I think more than anything else is the loyalty that he had with this team. And that's one thing that this New York Knicks team has right now. It's freaking chemistry. It is freaking loyalty. It is the fact that they want to be here. The fact that Mikal Bridges is coming here, OG could have said, you know what? I'll go somewhere else. I'll get more playing time. I'll go and I'll make just as much money, more money going other places. Could have got more max offers, and he chose to stay with the New York Knicks. Think about that. When is the last time that we talked about high-end free agents, or soon-to-be free agents, coming to the New York Knicks, staying here? It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in the longest time. We've gotten the the Stephon Marburys, the Steve Francis, the old school point guards, top point guards that were on their way out, that just were passing in the wind. Now we got top-end young players who want to be here, who want to bring a championship to New York. And Julius Randle was the first person to say, I want to be here, I want to stay here. And Leon Rose came in here, was Worldwide West, and they said, what will it take for you to be successful here? And they had that conversation, and they made the moves to make it happen. Julius Randle's going nowhere. No matter whether or not he's good in the playoffs or not good in the playoffs, Julius Randle is going to stay here for the rest of the season, and he's going to be part of this soon-to-be championship contending New York Knicks. Now that just leaves, are they going to be able to – are they going to trade off Mitchell Robinson? Are they going to try to bring back Hartenstein? Can they do all that? We'll find out. They also had a draft pick today, and then they traded away their 25th pick to get a bunch of second rounders. So good for them. But the New York Knicks make another solid move, and really free agency hasn't began. Nothing's really began. So the Knicks are just way ahead of everybody at this point in time. But even bigger news, the New York Mets are back to 500. The New York Mets, the team that everyone said was done, that everyone said will never see 500 again this season, is back to 500. And now listen, are we going to sit here and pop the champagne over the fact that the Mets are 500? Not me. I'm not. But especially because I consider this team to always be a 500 team. This made sense to me that they would be like this. But the fact that they have won 15 of their last 19 games, 15 of the last 19 games, they just put a beat down on the New York Yankees, have beat up good pitching. Okay? It's not bad pitching. It's good pitching, if not great pitching, in Garrett Cole and Luis Heel, the top pitcher in baseball, from what I've heard from other people. Okay? So let's be serious here. The Mets are good. Their offense is starting to click, whether it's because of Francisco Alvarez returning, whether it's because they actually have a legitimate DH for the first time in history in JD Martinez. The New York Mets are for real, and they're getting it from all ends. They're getting it from the pitching. They're getting it from their hitting. Their starters are going enough. Listen, I'd love to see, someone go maybe 7 innings, 8 innings would be great, especially with Edwin Diaz going to be out for a little bit. and we're not going to have that extra roster spot as with the suspension of Edwin Diaz, you lose that position. But for right now, I mean, they're flying high. 17 game stretch though coming out that they're going to need to bring in another pitcher. They're going to have to call up Christian Scott to add to this rotation. But regardless, what they've just done so far just to get to this point, and listen, if you look at the wild card standings, now they're a game and a half out. Yeah, they haven't lost a game in I don't even know how long, and now they've lost traction on the wild card, but that's because other teams are winning. Other teams have played more games. I'm not concerned. The fact is that the Mets are in it. That June swoon was upside down June swoon. It is the opposite of June swoon this year for the New York Mets. And the season's on. And listen, the season was always going to be here. But it's because of a few things. It's because of leadership like Francisco Lindor. Nobody wants to give him credit, but Francisco Lindor is a true leader. Carlos Mendoza is doing an amazing job as a head coach, as a manager. Obviously, there's still always questions with early on in the season about some things that he did, but he's cleaned that up. He's cleaned up his decisions with the bullpen. Maybe sometimes with the pinch hitting, still kind of scratch your head a little bit, but that's also the roster that's been given. And then you look at David Stearns, and you see a man who knows how to be proactive, not reactive, not this BS of, hey, I signed this guy, he's going to do well eventually, like Daniel Vogelbach. We expect him to put up his numbers at the end of the season. No, if he's not good, they're gone. We've seen all these guys, the Joey Wendells of the world, the Zach Shorts of the world. We're going to start seeing more and more bullpen arms just get tossed to the side if they can't hold up their end of the bargain. And that is David Stearns in a nutshell. And can't tell you that he's going to go there in the trade deadline and go and make all these crazy moves to make a huge playoff push. But what he is going to do is he's going to make sure that this is the best roster he can put on the field at all times. Now, it's still not there because Jeff McNeil's still playing. DJ Stewart still gets at bats. Starling Marte now being a heart, that takes away. Listen, he wasn't doing great defensively, but his bat was starting to really heat up a bit where the Mets might miss him. I know Tyrone Taylor did a great job just now filling in for him today, but we still could use more offense, better bench, but you can't complain right now. 15 of the last 19 games they've won. They've moved back to 500. They are not fourth place anymore in the National League East. They're now the third place team. They're making their way to the Braves. I know they're still a long way away, but they are fan-freaking-tastic. And there's a lot of good things to look at over this stretch and just praise, whether it's the players, whether it's the coaching staff, whether it's the management, not settling. And guess what? It could be grimace. It could be anything you want to say. I don't really care. The fact is this team is winning, and the fans are finally behind this team. The fans are vibing. And it gets me that 2015 feel. And this is the one thing I want to say. Last thing about the Mets here. In 2015, because they during the rain delay, they showed back the 5 days in Queen and 5 days in Flushing. And during this period in 2015, I never thought that team was going to be a championship team. I always thought, next year's going to be the year. 2016 is going to be the year. But 2015, certain players were starting picking up. Certain things were happening. The call-ups, the pitchers, everything was kind of just gelling. And then the Cespedes move happened, and they just took off. But I didn't get to enjoy the season because I was like, this team just not really good enough. It's going to be next year. I got to wait for next year. Next year, they sucked. Next year, everyone was injured. So maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year that I got to put hold my hat to and say, you know what? The Mets do have an opportunity. Maybe this is how they're going to win a championship. I'm not saying that just yet. I'm not just saying that they're going to go win a World Series this year, but I've always said they're going to be an 85-ish win team. Playoff is very much alive at 85 wins, 86 wins. That's not that far away. That's where they are right now. That's where they're headed. So if they could sneak in, anything can happen. And yeah, maybe there's one move that David Stearns can get lucky on and could bolster this team offensively, or maybe pitching or bullpen. You never know. So enjoy this ride. Enjoy. Because as a Met fan, we don't get this very often. We get a lot of misery and no payoff. But right now, it's been the opposite. A lot more payoff than misery. So enjoy. Yankee fans, on the other hand, I don't know what the hell's going on, because you have a team that is legitimately falling face first into the mud. You have two offensive weapons in Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, and guess what? I wouldn't pitch to either of them ever. There's no need to. Aaron Judge was the only reason why the Yankees made a comeback yesterday, hitting the grand slam. And today, the 2 runs came off of the Aaron Judge home run. There was no reason to pitch him. I know Juan Soto walked. Maybe you don't want to put another guy on base. It doesn't make a difference. There is no reason to pitch to Aaron Judge or Juan Soto for the rest of the year, because right now, this Yankee offense is disgusting. And this is something that I said from the beginning of the season. The Yankees got very lucky because they were not overperforming. They weren't doing anything special. They were playing teams that were playing bad baseball. And now things are catching up to them. The offense looks as flat as it did earlier in the season, when they were batting .220, when their OPS wasn't high, when Aaron Judge wasn't hitting the baseball. Yet they were winning those games because they were playing bad teams and they were getting lucky. And now they're playing teams that are hot and they're still playing bad baseball. That hasn't changed. Bad baseball has followed them all season long. But now you lost Giancarlo, somebody who's actually productive. You have to play DJ LeMahieu, who came back, but can't hit a beach ball if you throw it at him. Anthony Rizzo's out. Not saying that was anything, that he was doing anything spectacular, but now you got a kid, Ben Rice, playing first base, who's not productive. He's not a major leaguer right now. You have Trevino, who can't throw a base runner out. Like, there's all these issues with the Yankees, and then guess what? Their starting pitching kind of fallen off. Luis Gil is not this Cy Young caliber pitcher that we all thought he was. You know, I know he came off of Tommy John surgery. I know that he returned, and it was a great first few months for him as he returned. They built him up a little bit. They built up his arm strength. They were building up his innings, but he's not ready right now. He's not there. He's hitting a funk. And then you got Garrett Cole, who can't go deep into games. And listen, again, it's two starts for him, or 3 starts, whatever it is, 2 starts. So, like, I get it. It's still early, but this is a problem right now. And I know we could sit there and say, oh, well, they're still 22 games over 500, so what does it really mean? They're going to be fine. They're going to make the playoffs anyway. You make the playoffs, then what? Then what do you do? This team in the playoffs is going to get smacked around. You can go through the bullpen. You can go through the offense. Like, I just won't pitch to anybody named Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. I should do pretty well. That's a pretty easy strategy right now. Alex Verdugo, I know he finally got a hit today, but it wasn't. This is not the Alex Verdugo that a lot of Yankee fans would go, oh, this is a special piece of this team. It's not that guy. He's just not. And you can go up and down this lineup and see the same thing. You know? So it's right now the Yankees have to figure out how to press the right button. Is there a call up that they have to make? You know, and this is not just a call up to because this guy's injured, so now bring somebody up. Is there somebody that's going to put a spark to this team? You know, that's something that the Yankees have always been good at, is bringing up somebody to Anthony Volpe last year. He was a spark plug to the team. Now, listen, I understand they didn't make the playoffs last year, but still, he was a spark to the team. He was something different, something special. Is there someone that can be that spark plug to add? Listen, if you want to say that every team goes through ruts during the season because it's a long season, I get it. But this is not a rut to me, considering the fact that they performed like this very early on in the season, and they caught fire, over about a month ago, and they were that good then. But it's fallen back to earth again. This is who they are. This is actually who the Yankees are. So it is a tough spot. That team that won 50 games real quick. That's not this Yankees. That is not this Yankee team. But listen, Yankee fans, there's still a long season. You're still 22 games above 500, so you guys are in a great spot. Mets fans, enjoy this. Knicks fans, enjoy this. A lot more to go, but I will see you guys next time. I appreciate you guys watching and following and liking, and as I fill in for Sal again, you can always follow me at Hoff WFAN on all social media. I'll be back with the boys tomorrow, Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., as I always do, Monday through Friday. And then I'll be hosting on Saturday morning, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. on WFAN. But thank you for liking, subscribing, favoriting, and all that other nonsense that you do, whether it's, following, whatever it is, you click buttons that say subscribe. Please do that. Rate us, rank us, whatever it is. Appreciate it. But we'll have more tomorrow with the boys, BT and Sal, and also WFAN Daily. All right, people. See you later.